Good morning. Well, I haven't posted a video in a while, so I thought this would be an ideal time to do it. I'm still in Indonesia. I picked up, well, basically I ordered Arkham horror from Amazon before I left about 2 months ago, and it arrived, unfortunately, the day I left, or the day after. Well, I heard a lot about picking up 2 core sets, so I was at a board game cafe here in Surabaya, and they had a copy. So I thought, well, I'll pick up a copy now. I can start playing, learn myself the rules, and I've got another core set when I get home. So I've played through the main campaign, didn't do too well, done that 3 times now, and because I can't get any of the expansions here at the moment, I went on Board Game Geek and printed off a few of the print and plays. So this is the one called The Curse of Amulotep. Okay, now I've already set everything up. It's basically set on a train. So for the setup, it's a different setup to some of the other scenarios I've played, in as much as it's linear, if you like. So we have the locomotive, then we have carriage. These are 5 carriages, randomly shuffled and then just laid out in a line. So you can move from one position to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. But you can't go from here to here unless you travel to the train roof, which is here. Sorry for the glare, because I had to sleeve these because they were just on paper. So to move from any carriage position, you can move to the train roof, and then it takes you 2 movement actions to move from the train roof to anywhere else on the train. I've already set up the encounter deck. I've set up my my player deck, which for this one I'm using roll and banks. I'm using dice for the sanity and damage. I just find it easier, and I just printed off a player sheet from Board Game Geek from the file section. We have the agenda, and we have the act deck, and we have the set aside cards. So, having said that, let's begin. Let's see if I can focus this. Come on, focus, focus. Okay, there you go. So, agenda 1A, necromancy. Of the adventures that led you to Cairo and thence to Constantinople, with a clear cloth-shrouded book in your possession, the relation shall have to wait. You found yourself unexpectedly bound for London with a glittering Orient Express, gazing out at the majestic Carpathians just outside Bucharest. Your reveries were suddenly disturbed. Okay, sounds interesting. And Act 1A, on the Orient Express. Commotion erupted in the carriage. "Is there a doctor on the train?" bellowed a porter. A rakish young gentleman ejaculated. "Are you blind, man?" "He needs more than a doctor now. His heart's been cut out." There was a thud as the immaculately dressed lady next to the man fainted heavily to the floor. "Who could have committed such a horrific crime? Search the carriages, find the culprit." Okay, well, we're definitely the man for the job. I hope. Okay, so we will begin. First of all, we will pick our 5 starting cards. So we have Overpower, Manual Dexterity, Evidence. There's a lot of skill cards there. Mind over Matter, and Research Librarian. What does Research Librarian do? After Research Librarian enters play, search your deck for a tome asset and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Okay, so we don't really have any assets, which is a problem. What is the best thing to do here? What is the best thing to do? We're going to need evidence, I think, because we're going to have to find clues. Manual Dexterity, well, Roland only has an agility of 2, so we should probably keep that. Overpower, He's got a good fight stats anyway, but I really like to see like a torch or a gun or something. Research librarian. I think I'm going to dump the research librarian. I'm going to pick another card. Emergency cash. That doesn't really help us. Anyway, so let's shuffle these cards up. One-handed. Gee, rolling solo. I don't know how you do one-handed because this is a struggle for me. My hat's off to you, sir. Okay, so shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And we're away. So we will start, I think. We'll start at the end carriage. So we'll start here. Okay, so what do we have? Focus. For those that can afford it, the journey between Cairo and Calais is a luxurious week's travel. Okay, well, for most of us, I don't think that is the case. So we turn it over and we have the dining car. So, forced. This means that when we turn the card over, we have to do this. When revealed, draw an encounter card. If it is a cultist, spawn it into this location. If not, discard it. A tinkle of crystal and the salty waft of caviar accompanies the wobbling stewards, and the menagerie of preserved mammals draped across the exquisitely dressed clientele. Okay, very good. So we'll put 2 clues on here. We're only playing 1 investigator, so it's only 2 clues. It has a shroud value of 3, and we don't want to forget the forced. The forced action that's been put upon us. So now in this deck, there is also some cards added from one of the. Well, they're all the cards from the core set, but there's I think 5 cards added from one of the scenarios specifically of cultists, and we have to ignore the spawn. The spawn criteria for those cards relate to that specific scenario, but for this, according to this, at the bottom there, during play, ignore all spawn rules on, and that's cultist cards. So we only apply the spawn rules as per this scenario. So let's have a look. And it's not. So we can discard that. If it is a cultist, spawn into this location. If not, discard it. So we have Rotting Remains. It's not a cultist, it's a treachery card. So we can discard. Okay, good, good, good. So we come to our first action then. So what should we do? Clearly we want to get clues. We can do that with evidence because we can discard this to help us with that. But also that's handy if we use it as a skill, or as an event, sorry, that will let us get a clue if we defeat a monster. So maybe we shouldn't use that just yet. Our value is 3 for intellect. And it's 3, so it's 3 to 3. And oh my god, I've forgotten the... Okay, I'm back. Preparation is clearly key for playthroughs, as I forgot to get the chaos pot. I know it's called the chaos bag, but this is the chaos pot in my kits. So, sorry about that. Let's begin again. Well, not begin again. Let's continue, I should say. So, we are going to try and find a clue, I believe is what I said. And we don't really have, we only have 1 card that can help us, which we don't really want to use at the moment. So we will, I'll tell you what we'll do. We will draw a card as our first action. And we've got dodge. And I also forgot to bring out the resource token. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 resource tokens. Okay, dodge again, is not really going to help us here. So I think we just have to go for it. Let's try and find a clue. Let's get into the yogurt pot of doom. And we need, well, -2 is not going to help. That's a fantastic start, Roland. Clearly, you've not worn your glasses today. I guess we should just try again and hope for the best. Okay, let's try again and hope for the best. Yogurt pot of doom. Chaos, I mean. And oh my. Okay, so we draw the, I believe it's called the tablet. And the tablet is -3 if there's a mummy enemy at your club. Okay, -3. And if there's a mummy enemy at my location, take 1 horror. Well, it's -3, so that takes it to 0. So that was probably one of the worst starts I've ever had. Okay, so now we move on to the enemy phase. There are no enemies, so nothing happens there. Reset phase, well, I'm not resetting because I never unreset. And we take 1 card, which is Vicious Blow. If this skill test is successful during the attack deals +1 damage. Okay, that might come in handy. How many cards do I have at the moment? I'm only allowed to have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I already got 7. I take 1 resource, and that is the end of the first round. Okay, so let's continue with round 2. First of all, 1 doom. 1 doom on the agenda. Draw 1 card. Now this time it doesn't matter what card it is, we don't discard it as per the rules of the cards, the carriages. Okay, and we have bollocks. Any empty location forced after Acolyte enters play, place 1 doom on it. Well, I'm going to place it here in the next carriage to us and place a doom on it because I need to get to that carriage fairly quickly and take care of that Acolyte. Now he's got 5 to 3, 1 hit point. I think we can take care of him fairly easily as long as we get there. However, we're not there yet. So now it's our turn again. Are we going to try and go for the clues here, or shall we quickly shoot across and kill that Acolyte? The problem with that is, if we go to the next carriage and maybe it has the same forced criteria as here, which means we may end up facing 2 creatures or 2 monsters. So what is the best thing to do? Think, Roland. We could try for a clue. No, better idea. Okay, we move to the next carriage. We'll take the risk about the cultist appearing, and then we will use our evidence. But we will try and kill this Acolyte, then we will use the evidence to pick up 1 clue there anyway. Let's try that. It'll become clear when I do it. So, first action, move to this carriage. This now engages with me. So let's call this my threat area. Move these things around. Move this out of the way. There. So, in Roland's threat area now is an Acolyte who is now engaged with him. We turn over this carriage. This is the luggage carriage. Okay. When revealed, draw an encounter card, of course, so we have to see if that's a cultist. An expensive looking leather and brass chests and suitcases nestle alongside beaten up tea chests bound for American, that should be America, I guess. America, and dusty wooden crates stamped for the British Museum. Ooh, that looks a bit dodgy. So clearly something is not correct here. Now, damn. Well, I don't think you can see that. The shroud value on this one is 4, but there are 3 clues. Okay. Let's put 3 clues on there. That was our first action. Our second action is to try and kill this enemy. So he only gets 1 hit point. Let's have a look closer. So he's got 1 hit point. to kill him, and he's got a fight value of 3 and an agility, well, for evasion purposes, of 2. So clearly we need to kill him. So we will. We have a fight value of 4, so a +1 at the moment. I think we'll commit overpower, because then we can draw another card afterwards, and we really need to get like a weapon or something. So we've got 4. We'll commit that. So we've got 6. 6 and we need 3. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. -1. Excellent. So this guy's dead. Let's put him here. The Doom gets put back into the Doom resource, the Doom bank, if you like. Now, one of Roland's special abilities is that after you defeat an enemy, discover 1 clue at your location. So we will discover 1 clue there. Okay, that's 1 clue. Secondly, we will fast play this. After you defeat an enemy, discover 1 clue at your location. Only costs 1, so we will play that. 1 resource goes in there, and we get another clue. That event was fast, so it didn't cost an action. Okay, so we've actually managed to pick up 2 clues from there, and we've still got 1 action left. And we need to advance. We need to get 4 clues. We could try the next carriage. Then we take the risk of another cultist appearing. I mean, we've got enough clues in play now to be able to advance. So I say we What to do? What to do? Shall we try and draw another card, or shall we move back to the dining car so that we're in a position to at least get some clues from there at a shroud value of 3? I would say yes. So our last action will be to move back to here. That's the end of the turn. Sorry, that's the end of the investigator phase. Overpower. What I did forget was overpower. Okay, let's go back a little bit. So we're still here, we've got 1 action left. We played overpower. So if it's successful, draw 1 card. It was successful, so we didn't draw a card. First aid. Okay, so it cost us 2 to play that. That might be quite handy because Roland doesn't have a great deal of sanity. So that, for me, he always tends to run out of sanity. So again, we'll move our last action back to here. Done. So we now have the enemy phase. There are no enemies on the board. We go to cleanup. So we're already in position. We don't have anything exhausted. We take 1 card, which is, finally, Roland's 38 special. This is the card that is only in his deck. So let's put that there. Let's move these around a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we have 7 cards in total. We need to get this one into play ASAP. And we take 1 resource. Okay, that's the end of that round. And that's it for this video, and we'll continue in the next video. Thanks for watching.